The sound of shattering glass cut through the thunder like a scream in church. I stood in my kitchen doorway, coffee mug halfway to my lips, watching my PlayStation controller explode against the brick wall of my converted mill loft. Melissa whirled around, her blonde hair whipping like a weapon, mascara streaked down her cheeks in perfect Instagram tragedy makeup. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best, she shrieked, grabbing my vintage beer stein collection from the shelf. I set down my coffee and pulled out my phone, hitting record. And here we observe the wild narcissist in her natural habitat, I narrated in my best David Attenborough voice, displaying classic territorial aggression after a failed hunting expedition. The beer stein missed my head by inches, exploding against the exposed brick behind me. Melissa's face twisted into something that belonged in a horror movie. She grabbed a steak knife from the block and hurled it at the wall, where it stuck quivering in the mortar between bricks. "Derek, you piece of garbage! This is all your fault!" She swept her arm across my coffee table, sending magazines and my laptop crashing to the floor. "You never support me. You never believe in my dreams." Her dreams. Right. Last month, it was becoming a lifestyle influencer. Before that, opening a boutique cupcake shop. This week, she'd decided to become an event planner, despite having never successfully planned anything more complex than a grocery list. Jessica, her enabler-in-chief, stood by the door filming everything on her own phone, probably already planning the TikTok caption. "Get him, girl. Show him what happens when men don't appreciate queens." I kept my phone steady, documenting every thrown object, every screamed threat. 2 years of marriage, and I'd finally learned to protect myself. Melissa grabbed my coffee maker, a wedding gift from my mother, and raised it above her head. "Put down the Cuisinart, Melissa. We both know you've never actually used it." She hurled it anyway. The machine shattered against the hardwood floor, coffee grounds exploding like confetti at the world's worst party. "I want a divorce!" she screamed, grabbing her purse. "And I'm taking everything! Everything, you hear me?" "Looking forward to it," I said calmly, still recording. Jessica sneered at me as they stormed out. "You'll regret this, loser. Melissa's got friends, important friends." The door slammed hard enough to rattle the windows. I surveyed the wreckage of my living room, calculating damages. The PlayStation, $300. The beer steins, $200 for the set. Coffee maker, $150. The laptop would need a new screen, another $300. I sat down at my kitchen table and opened my laptop, grateful the screen still worked despite the crack running down the middle. As a building inspector for the city, I'd gotten pretty good at itemizing damages and calculating costs. Time to send Melissa an invoice. 3 days later, I hand-delivered the invoice to Jessica's house, knowing Melissa would be there for their daily gossip session. The perfectly manicured suburban lawn and matching BMW in the driveway screamed, "Daddy's money," louder than a megaphone. Jessica answered the door in yoga pants that had never seen a gym, clutching a green smoothie like a weapon. "What do you want, Derek?" "Delivery for Melissa." I held out the envelope with a smile. "Invoice for damages. Itemized, with photos." Jessica laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "You're pathetic. She's not paying you anything." "That's fine. Small claims court loves video evidence." I pulled out my phone and showed her the footage, especially when it shows premeditated property destruction and threats of violence. Her smoothie-enhanced smirk faded as she watched Melissa throwing the knife. "This is revenge porn or something. It's illegal." "Actually, it's security footage from my own apartment. Perfectly legal. But thanks for the legal advice, counselor." I tucked the phone away. "Tell Melissa she has 30 days to pay, or I file with the court. Have a blessed day." Walking back to my truck, I spotted my neighbor Louise watering her garden. At 73, Louise knew everyone's business in a 6-block radius and wasn't shy about sharing it. "Derek, honey, come here." She waved me over with her watering can. "I've been meaning to talk to you." "What's up, Louise?" "It's about that wife of yours. Ex-wife, I guess now." She glanced around conspiratorially. "She's been bringing that muscle-bound fool around while you're at work. I've got pictures." Louise pulled out her phone. Somehow, the elderly woman had better surveillance skills than most private investigators. The photos showed Melissa and a tall gym rat type entering my building, then leaving hours later looking disheveled. "His name's Brad Morrow," Louise continued. "Drives that ridiculous BMW, works in tech, thinks he's God's gift, lives in one of those fancy high-rises downtown." "How long has this been going on?" 3 months, at least. I documented everything. Figured you'd need proof for the divorce." I hugged Louise, probably the first genuine affection I'd felt in months. "You're amazing. Thank you. Honey, I've been married 52 years. I know a cheater when I see one, and that girl's been cheating on you since day one." That evening, my lawyer Ben reviewed the evidence over beers at the Rusty Anchor, our local dive bar that served the best wings in the city and minded its own business. "This is beautiful," Ben said, scrolling through the photos and videos. "Property destruction, adultery, documented timeline. She's going to get destroyed in court. What about the invoice?" "Small claims will eat this up. Judge Morrison hates entitled brats, and the video evidence is ironclad." Ben grinned. "This'll be fun. Let's ruin her day." The next morning, I found an unmarked envelope slipped under my door. Inside were more photos, much more explicit ones of Melissa and Brad in compromising positions, time stamped during her supposed girls' nights with Jessica. A note was attached. "Thought you should know what your wife really does for fun. A friend who hates cheaters." I stared at the photos, feeling a cold satisfaction settle in my chest. Melissa had always been good at playing victim, but now I had ammunition. Time to load the cannons. The Rusty Anchor was packed for Thursday night trivia when I met my old crew, Nate, my construction foreman buddy, and Tom, who ran the local auto shop. We'd been friends since high school, but Melissa had slowly poisoned them against me with her manipulation and lies. "Look what the cat dragged in," Nate said as I approached their usual table. His tone was cold, nothing like the warmth we'd shared for 15 years. "Hey guys, mind if I sit?" Tom didn't look up from his beer. "Depends. You here to apologize for what your psycho wife did to Jessica's car?" "What are you talking about?" "Don't play dumb," Nate snapped. "Melissa told us how you put her up to keying Jessica's BMW. Real mature, Derek." I laughed, genuinely confused. "When did this supposedly happen?" "Last week, same day you served that ridiculous lawsuit." "I was at work all day. I've got timesheets, security footage, 20 witnesses." I pulled out my phone. "But speaking of BMWs and keying..." I showed them the photos Louise had taken, then the more explicit ones from my anonymous friend. Their expressions shifted from anger to shock to disgust. "Holy hell," Tom whispered. "She's been cheating on you?" "For months, while telling you guys I was the problem." I swiped to the video of her destroying my apartment. This is what really happened that night. No editing, no manipulation, just Melissa being Melissa. Nate watched the whole thing in silence, his face growing redder with each thrown object. "She told us you hit her, said you were abusive." "When have you ever known me to hit anyone? Even in high school when Brad Kowalski sucker punched me, I just walked away." "Different Brad," Tom muttered, still staring at the photos. "But yeah, this doesn't look like something an abuse victim would do." "She played us," Nate said quietly. "Made us choose sides, turned us against you. I'm sorry, man." Before I could respond, the bar door flew open and Melissa stormed in, Jessica trailing behind her like a lost puppy. She spotted our table and marched over, her heels clicking like gunshots on the wooden floor. "You bastard!" she screamed, loud enough to stop all conversation in the bar. "How dare you spread lies about me?" What lies? I asked calmly, not standing up. Those fake photos, that revenge porn. I'm calling the police. Feel free. There's security footage and public photography, all perfectly legal. She grabbed Tom's beer and threw it in my face, the cold liquid soaking my shirt and dripping onto the floor. The entire bar went silent, everyone staring at the drama unfolding. I wiped beer from my eyes and smiled. Thanks for the drink. That'll be another $50 for the dry cleaning. You haven't seen revenge yet, Melissa hissed, leaning close enough that I could smell her expensive perfume mixed with desperation. I'll destroy you. I'll take everything you have, everything you love. You'll be sorry you ever crossed me. She straightened up, addressing the entire bar like she was giving a speech. This man is an abuser. He's stalking me, harassing me, posting intimate photos online. Don't believe his lies. But the crowd had already seen too much. Someone in the back called out, "Lady, you just threw a drink at him for showing people photos of your boyfriend." Another voice, "Yeah, and you trashed his place. We all saw the video." Melissa's face went white as she realized her victim act wasn't working. Jessica tugged at her arm. "Come on, let's go. These people are idiots." As they left, Melissa turned back one last time. "This isn't over, Derek. Not even close." The bar erupted in conversation as soon as the door closed. Nate clapped me on the shoulder. "Brother, I owe you a massive apology. We all do." "Forget it. She's good at what she does." "Was good," Tom corrected. "Pretty sure everyone in town's going to know the truth by tomorrow morning." He was right. By the next afternoon, the story had spread through social media like wildfire. The video of Melissa destroying my apartment had been shared hundreds of times, and someone had created a meme using her worst best quote that was trending locally. But Melissa wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. The small claims court hearing was scheduled for the following Tuesday. I arrived early, wearing my best suit and carrying a folder full of evidence. Melissa showed up 10 minutes late with a lawyer who looked like he charged by the syllable. "Your Honor," her lawyer began, "my client is the victim of a malicious harassment campaign by her estranged husband. These so-called damages are fabricated, and the video evidence was obtained illegally." Judge Morrison, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s, looked unimpressed. "Mr. Sullivan, let's see this video." I played the footage on my laptop, the sound of breaking glass echoing through the courtroom. Melissa's lawyer tried to object twice, but the judge shut him down. "Mrs. Sullivan," Judge Morrison said when the video ended, "do you dispute that this footage shows you destroying your husband's property?" "He provoked me. He was emotionally abusive. I was defending myself." "By throwing kitchen knives and destroying a coffee maker?" Melissa's lawyer whispered frantically in her ear, but she ignored him. "You don't understand what I've been through. He's been stalking me, posting revenge porn, turning my friends against me." "I see no evidence of stalking or revenge porn in this case," the judge replied dryly. "I do see clear evidence of property destruction. Mr. Sullivan, your damages appear reasonable and well documented. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,200 plus court costs." Melissa's face went purple. "This is ridiculous. He's lying. He's manipulating everyone." "Mrs. Sullivan, you have 30 days to pay the judgment. Court dismissed." Outside the courthouse, Melissa's lawyer grabbed her arm as she started toward me. "Don't say another word. You've done enough damage." But Melissa shook him off. "You think you've won? You think this is over?" "Yeah, pretty much." I tucked the judgment papers into my jacket. "Thanks for the entertainment, though. The whole town's been enjoying the show." "I'll appeal this. I'll sue you for everything you have." "With what money? Your boyfriend's?" That hit home. Melissa's face crumpled for just a moment before the rage returned. "Brad's worth 10 of you. He actually appreciates me." "Is that what he told you? Because according to my sources, he's been telling his gym buddies you're just a fun distraction. Nothing serious." It was a bluff, but Melissa's expression told me I'd hit close to the mark. She turned and stalked away, her lawyer hurrying after her. 3 weeks later, I got a call from Louise. "Derek, honey, you need to see this. Turn on Channel 7. The local news was running a story about a tech company scandal. Brad Morrow's face filled the screen as the reporter explained how he'd been embezzling money from his startup to fund his lifestyle. The FBI had raided his condo that morning. In related news, the reporter continued, Mr. Morrow's girlfriend, local social media personality Melissa Sullivan, was arrested this afternoon on charges of conspiracy and money laundering. I sat down hard on my couch, staring at the screen. Photos of Melissa in handcuffs, being led to a police car. Her perfect makeup was ruined, her designer dress wrinkled. My phone rang. Ben, my lawyer. "Derek, you watching the news?" "Yeah, holy hell." "Gets better. Turns out your anonymous photo friend was the FBI. They'd been investigating Brad for months, and Melissa was their way in. Those photos weren't just evidence of adultery, they were proof she knew about the money." I thought about all those expensive clothes, the sudden talk of opening businesses, the fancy dinners she'd claimed Jessica was paying for. How long do you think she'll get? Federal conspiracy? Money laundering? She's looking at 5 to 10 minimum. After hanging up, I walked to my window and looked out at the city. Somewhere out there, Melissa was sitting in a jail cell, probably still convinced she was the victim, still believing the world owed her something. My phone buzzed with a text from Nate. "Drinks at the Anchor tonight. We're buying." I smiled and typed back, "On my way." Justice, it turned out, had a sense of humor after all.